The Mozambique government and aid agencies are in a race against time and to distribute relief aid to areas stricken by Cyclone Idai. Now, looming famine and logistical challenges are threatening to make a bad situation even worse. Cyclone Idai slammed Mozambique on March 14th, devastating the port city of Beira and surrounding areas. In the following days, the powerful storm swept through the region, triggering massive flooding and leaving entire communities submerged under 10 meters of water. One of the worst hit areas was Buzi in central Mozambique, where many residents are small-scale farmers who depend on their crops for sustenance. According to the United Nations, food aid has reached 1 million people and more than 100,000 people have received emergency shelter. However, due to a lack of access, many people in central Mozambique have not received humanitarian assistance. Now, for more on the challenges the government and aid agencies are facing, Daniel Timme, UNICEF's Mozambique communications person, joins us now live from Beira. Good evening, Daniel.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. Now, we've been watching this thing. It looked like it just happened yesterday. It's been a whole month. What is left? I mean, the aid agencies went in droves. What are the challenges that are making it difficult to reach most of the people?
Yeah, one month on, we say maybe less of these dramatic helicopter rescue images on television, but the situation of children here remains very serious, and they need food, they need water, and they need health care. One of the biggest challenges we are facing right now is the spread of waterborne diseases, and in particular cholera.
And we know that among those who are seriously affected are children. A great number of children there in Mozambique, from education to health to shelter. What would it take to take care of this, to meet their needs, and how long could this be? Could it take, if you share with us some projections there?
Yeah, for example, the fight against cholera requires safe and clean drinking water. That is very important. And we don't want to continue to bring this water to the communities in trucks. We want to find sustainable solutions and dig boreholes for dwells and so the communities have water for the longer term. And we want to build schools back better instead of having children in temporary tents to be educated. So these are long-term solutions, and they require long-term needs. And the 120 million that we are appealing for are for these long-term needs. And we are a bit worried that this disaster gets a bit out of the focus of the world community.
Given the enormity of the challenges and the extent of the devastation, why do you think there's been a slow response, especially in providing the necessary funds?
Well, the first response is always pretty quick, and we have seen a lot of solidarity from all over the world. And also from individual citizens in the US and in other countries. We have seen overwhelming support. But what is important to know is that this is not done in 4 weeks. It is a long-term, monumental task ahead of us, and we need to bring basic services, education, health to all these children that are in dire need now.
And very, very, very quickly, in terms of the water, are there areas getting drier? Can people now start going back at least to rebuild?
Yes, the water is slowly receding, but the situation is even getting worse, because in this muddy, watery region, mosquitoes are bred. And we have already noticed 7,500 cases of malaria. We need to distribute impregnated mosquito nets to the population. Basically, there is one big disaster following the other, and it's an immense effort we are fighting against time to help the population here.
In a few seconds, what is the fear? Apart from the disease outbreak, but what are some of your worst fears at this moment?
The fear is that this crisis gets forgotten, because it's in a remote part of the world. but we have long-term engagement here in front of us, and we need to make an effort. Together we can meet this challenge, and I'm confident that we can help the people so that one day when we go out of here, they can help themselves. And we urge the world community to stand at their side at this time.
Well, let's hope nobody forgets about this. We'll keep talking about it. Daniel, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, that's Daniel Timme, who is UNICEF's Mozambique Chief Communications Officer.